So my first powerlifting meet was in January of 2013. My training style was just bodybuilding style. I'm at a commercial gym doing reps of like 4x8, 4x12. Every once in a while I would pyramid up, hit a heavy single, heavy double, just to test strength, but not really trying to build strength over time. I signed up and then immediately I was like, oh, I literally don't know anything about powerlifting. And I started looking up all these programs and I was trying to come up with like a quick 3 to 4 week program that I can kind of crash course myself to be ready for my meet in January. Come January, my openers were way too high and I had all kinds of malfunctions and stuff, but I fell in love with the sport and I fell in love with the community. And a big shout out goes to this guy named Matt Reed, who was in my same weight class. He was far more experienced, far stronger than me, but he can see how new I was. He lent me his belt, lent me his wrist wraps, chalked my back for me, and I was like, wow, like powerlifting is such a positive community because although you're competing with each other, you're really just competing with yourself. And that guy has like forever changed the way I view powerlifting because he was kind of my host. And if anyone else would have introduced me, and maybe if they were like douchebags and that was my introduction, I probably would have hated powerlifting, but he was my introduction. So wherever you are, Matt, like I'm forever grateful. So my first powerlifting meet in January of 2013, it was 98% white people. And it was very stereotypical. You have huge, big, round white guys. You know, everyone's lift was listening to heavy metal. Oh, by this time there was so few people that you could request what your lift song was. So people would go up and they would be like, hey, you know what, this is my lift song. I want to listen to Disturbed, Hatebreed, or I want to listen to Avenged Sevenfold, and they'll play it for you because there's literally like 10, 15 lifters that day. Now that's even unthinkable because you have so many lifters, there's 2 platforms. Back then there was like barely anyone. It looked like an Alcoholic Anonymous meeting. Powerlifting today though is a highly populated event. Even at a small local meet now, it's packed. There'll be 2 platforms and it's like a 2-day event because there's so many lifters. So they have girls up to like 181 guys, the next day will be 198 guys to like 308s. Whereas back then, you have all those guys in one day. So things changed a lot and powerlifting grew as an entire sport and the demographics have changed. Now people are, not only are they strong, they're also very aesthetic because of the transition towards raw lifting. The whole sport has changed drastically. There's a lot of Asians in powerlifting and there's a lot of Asian girls and the Asian girls are smashing it. It's like every powerlifting meet, at least half of the Asian girls, and they all look like thin and petite, they're all deadlifting over 300, which blows my mind. Powerlifting, for the longest period of time, I would say maybe even 10, 15 years, it stayed the same, and all of a sudden 2 years happened and it's drastically changed. And I think it's due to a lot of people seeking the truth in fitness now. So what I mean by that is, before just reading magazines and doing everything 4x8 or 4x12, they want to find programs that actually get you stronger. People are tracking macros. They don't have all these weird diets that are like, eat 3 carrots a day and then you'll put on 5 pounds of muscle. They don't believe in that bullshit anymore. Like, people are seeking the truth. And because people are seeking the truth, they're looking for functional fitness. Their whole workout doesn't consist of machines anymore. And I think it's like this perfect storm where all these different ingredients coming together, the explosion of CrossFit. I like to talk about CrossFit as if it's MMA because there's ollie lifting, powerlifting, there's cardio aspects, there's strongman aspects, but once you get into it, you might find a discipline that relates to you more. So some people, they do MMA and then they're like, oh, you know what, I want to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So a lot of people go into CrossFit and then they're like, you know what, I don't like the other stuff, I just like ollie lifting, or I like powerlifting. So you have those powerlifters from a CrossFit background that they come in. So it's just kind of like all these different aspects that come together, and because of that, I think powerlifting was able to change so much in 2 years.
I think the difference between a year ago to now, just because powerlifting has grown so much, a year ago, I didn't even know what like certain programs were. I didn't know people followed like Shakos, Moloch, on all these different types of programs. And at the time, I really felt like the powerlifting circle was small. But being with Barbell Brigade attracts so many different people from everywhere. And so I feel like then and now, just because we're growing, we've built like this community that everyone can just bring their own like piece of advice or piece of knowledge or piece of experience that they can share with the table.
How quickly knowledge can get passed around, and the change in demographic is what created this huge paradigm shift in powerlifting. So today I did squats with Alex, and Alex is one of the staff at Barbell Brigade, and he is one of the most interesting of characters here.
How come you're warming up so much? It's not even like you're doing heavy weight.